Hey guys, this is Eric from Mindful Trader. This video is about MES futures. So with the Mindful Trader stock pick service, I sometimes make trades with MES futures. So I actually have some futures picks in there as well. I only trade one futures ticker, and that's the MES futures. And the reason is because I've done tons of research on that one ticker. The MES futures are very closely correlated with the S&P 500. So when the market goes up, the MES futures typically go up. And that is something that I've studied a ton and why I trade them. So I will tell you more about these futures. So first thing is I want to say that when I first heard about futures, I felt maybe some fear or some intimidation. But as I got into them and studied them more, I came to really like them. And the reason is because they trade just like stocks, but they have leverage. And I'm going to show you in this video what I mean and how that works. So first of all, I'm in the Thinkorswim platform. That's the platform I use for trading at Mindful Trader. It's offered by TD Ameritrade. You can use whatever platform you want. I like this one though, because it allows me to trade futures and stocks in the same account. And it's somebody mentioned to me interactive brokers may also offer that. I haven't validated it myself. But aside from that, I had never heard of any other account, any other brokerage offering that service. And it's a big deal to me. And the reason is because the compounding growth, is really maximized when you can do the futures and the stocks in the same account. If you kind of have two separate accounts where they're both growing, they may be compounding on themselves, but if they can't join together, then there's not that extra juice. So I like to have it all in the same account so that every profitable trade I make adds more juice to all the other trades, not just to one segment of trades. So it's a big deal to me, and it's something you can consider. So now I want to show you some more details. /MES, there's a slash right there at the start of the ticker. You'll notice when I send, when I post my stock picks that I'll put /MES sometimes. And that just means it's the MES futures ticker. The stock tickers don't have a slash in front of them. In Thinkorswim, /MES is how you indicate the MES futures. In other platforms, it may be different. It is different in some other platforms. I know E-Trade, I looked at that, a few years ago, and I know the way to type it in was different. And you're going to have to contact your platform if it's not intuitive to you right off the bat, and it may not be because it's kind of weird sometimes with some of these platforms. But if that's the case, you'll have to contact them to understand how to type in the ticker to see the MES futures. I also want to say you have to apply to be able to trade futures. You have to apply with your brokerage. So if there's an application process right out of the gate with a stock brokerage account, you typically cannot trade futures. So if you don't already have futures trading privileges, you can expect that you're going to need to go talk to your brokerage and ask them if you can apply for them if you're interested in trading futures. Now, I want to show you here, I have these are my current live positions, and you can see /MES is in the same group here as these other stock tickers. Again, this is just reinforcing the fact that I'm able to trade them all in the same account, and that's a big deal to me. There's a couple other things I want to show you about the MES futures. So if you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I like to trade stocks and place my orders using this, what do they call it? The active trader window. It's like an order ladder. And I really like it in Thinkorswim. And so I know some other trading platforms have something similar, but you just point where you want to place your order and click. So it's really easy. So for example, right now I could say I want to place a limit order right there, and the order's in, and it's really easy. And notice I'm on the MES futures right now. So that's a pretty cool thing. So you move this around to wherever you want the order to be, and it just sets your order up. It's really cool. So you can tell from looking at this, there's a bid, there's an ask. It's just like a stock. So it's very similar in that way. You'll also notice though that the price goes in these 25-cent increments. That's one way that it's different. So it's just a little different in that way. It doesn't go up 1 penny at a time on the order ladder. It goes up in 25-cent increments. There's some other important things for you to be aware of. I'm going to close this order. The other things for you to be aware of are that it's a leveraged product. So the MES futures are a leveraged product. When you buy one of these contracts, you don't pay 39. In this case, if I was to buy it at this price, I'm not going to put up $3,900 to buy it. You buy. There's a smaller amount you pay to purchase it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this other screen over into view here, and on the web page on my site where I talk about futures, I will have a link to this. Okay, it's this kind of funky link right here, but this shows what buying power is required to buy an MES futures contract at any given time. And I say at any given time because it fluctuates based on market conditions, and it may seem like, wow, oh, it's a lot to take in, and it kind of is. Over time, though, I've gotten used to it. It's just this one of these things that gets internalized. Okay, it requires a certain amount of buying power, and the way that I size my trades, buying power typically doesn't come into question. If you have enough money in your account to begin with to even make the trade using my position sizing strategy, if that's what you were to choose to do, then the amount of buying power won't really be an issue. I still want to show this to you just so that you get the education and so that you're aware how it works. So first, let me say MES futures are the micro version of the ES futures. And the ES futures are very closely correlated with the S&P 500. So when the market goes up, the value of the ES futures go up and the value of the MES futures go up. So the ES futures are 10 times the value of the micro ES futures. And again, I trade the micro ES futures. So this web page here, which is a PDF file actually, shows for the ES futures, which are 10 times the size of the MES futures, the amount you have to buy one contract is $12,100. For the micro ES futures, you need 1/10 of that amount. And so that would be $1,210. Now, it may be that different platforms have different rules. And so you'll have to check with your platform to make sure and confirm that. But that would be something that I would expect, is that you would pay you would need $1,210 of cash to control one contract for the MES futures. Now, notice I said contract and not share. Futures are traded in contracts. So that's one thing. And so you may notice me saying that from time to time. Let's see the other thing. So it doesn't require the full $3,900 in this case at this specific price that I'm looking at right now to control one contract. Also, when the price goes up, the amount of money that goes into your account is more than what shows here, and the same when it goes down. It goes down by more than what it shows there. So for every dollar shown on the MES price, your account value corresponds with it in $5 increments. So if you buy an MES contract and it goes up $1, your account value does not go up $1. It goes up $5. And the same when it goes down. If it goes down $10, if the MES price goes down $10, your account value will go down $50. So it's a $5 account impact for each dollar movement of the MES. So that's what I mean when I say it's a leveraged product. So it is different than stocks in that way, but I mean, you can see if you've been watching here, the price just kind of moves around, and just like a stock price does. And so in that way, to me, it's just like trading stocks. It's just this one ticker has some different characteristics. I've already accounted for these characteristics when I make stock picks, when I post it to my stock pick page. And also when I created a position sizing spreadsheet so that people can see the position sizing that I would take on for any given trade, given any particular account size. And all these things I just explained to you, they're accounted for. But I know that you may want to know more, and that's why I'm sharing this video to explain that. I have a list here of the things I wanted to make sure. Oh, there's a couple more things I need to tell you. Right now, it is after the stock market hours. It's 4:58 p.m. Pacific time. The regular stock market's been closed for almost 4 hours, and yet here the futures market is just plugging away. The futures market is open for different hours than the stock market. The stock market is only open for what, six and a half hours a day, and the futures market is open almost 23 hours a day, and it even opens on Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. So the futures market is just open a lot more, and the opening bell for the futures market is at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So it's different than the stock market. It's like a completely different hours of operation. And so that's something to be aware of. What you'll see if you join this service and you see some of these MES stock picks that I make, and I call them stock picks, but obviously the MES ones are futures picks. But whenever I post these picks, the 96% of the time, according to the data that I have up to this point, the MES trade will happen right at the opening bell of the futures market open, which again is at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So it may seem weird because the stock market is closed, and yet here I'm posting a pic saying that I just made a futures trade on the MES futures. And that is normal because that's when the futures market opens. So that is something to be aware of. And again, if you get the futures account access, you'll see what I mean, where the futures are trading starting at 3 p.m. and then they stop at 2 p.m. Pacific time. And you have to adjust for your time zone. Let me look at my list. Oh yeah, there's another important thing. The expiration dates. So futures have expiration dates. This is a little wrinkle that comes up every once in a while that's something that has to be dealt with. And again, it may seem like kind of a lot at first, and it is. It's it's like kind of all this different information. It's different than stocks in these ways that I'm outlining, and yet you can see from this order ladder the price moves just like a stock. So it can be learned. It's just getting used to these few different little unique things about the MES futures. So expiration dates. Each futures contract actually has an expiration date, and what happens, I'll just say what I do is I trade the nearest term expiration date. And in fact, I can see right here on this chart, right here, you can see this green dashed line, and it says /MES H21. And the H21 is a code for the expiration. And in your trading platform, pardon me, that in fact may be the way you need to enter the ticker to look it up, is you may need to type /MES H21 or whatever the code is for the current expiration. And what I'll do is also on that page on the website, I'll put a link to where you can go look up what is the current expiration. So that you can see what is the exact code in case that's what your platform needs for you to be able to enter it. But it's kind of interesting. Futures contracts expire 4 times a year. Once in March, once in June, every 3 months. And H stands for March. 21 stands for the year 2021. So MES H21 is referring to the March 2021 MES futures contract. And let's see, it looks like it became the front running contract right here back in December. So somewhere in fact, actually it looks like it shows it right here, right around here where this red dotted line is, that's when this contract will expire. And so basically at any given time you want to trade the most near term expiration. And right now it's the March 2021. Once this red line hits, the March 2021 contract will expire. You won't be able to trade it anymore. And the June 2021 contract will then be the nearest term contract, and that's the one I would be trading from that point until that one expires. Okay, so it could be, well, there will be times where that's important to know, and especially if in your platform you need to enter, the exact expiration along with the ticker symbol. Well, then you're going to need to know that if you want to make those trades. I like Thinkorswim because I don't have to fiddle with the expiration. I just type /MES and it automatically defers to the current expiration contract. So it's another thing I like about Thinkorswim. There's just no confusion about that. It's always the current contract. It's not too many extra steps to figure out the current contract and type that in though into your platform if that's the way your platform is. I need to tell you one other thing, which is that every once in a while an expiration of a contract will come up while I have an open position. And if that's the case, I get out of the position right before expiration and I do what's called rolling over to the next contract. This doesn't happen very often. So, if you're feeling overwhelmed, notice it, but it's okay. It's okay to feel that. And it's okay because this information is something you can learn if you want to learn it. And it doesn't come up that often. And I will be here to guide you through it. On the stock picks page, I will put a note saying this one might last through the expiration rollover. I will roll my position over on this date if it hasn't already hit the profit exit or stop loss. And so that's how you'll know that I'm anticipating a potential rollover and how you'll know what exactly I'm doing to account for that situation. But basically, I don't want to hold the position right into expiration. Some funny stuff happens like right in the last minutes before expiration. And my goal is not to hold a position into expiration and kind of leave it up to whatever happens there. I'm really looking for a longer term swing position hold where the expiration has nothing to do with that position. And so that's why when it gets really close, if I still have a position open, all I do is I sell that position, assuming I'm long the position, I close it by selling it, and then I buy a new position with the newer expiration. It's just that simple. So literally within 60 seconds, I'll close the old one and buy the new one. And there may be a little bit of slippage in the price or whatever, the price might move just a touch while I'm closing one position and opening another. For the trades that I do where they're meant to last a week, losing a couple of ticks doesn't really make any difference. It doesn't make enough of a difference to me. I guess that's a better way to put it, for me to care about that. I do want to show you one more thing in Thinkorswim. In case you use Thinkorswim, you can put the exact expiration if you want. So if you need to be specific about the expiration, which would happen if you needed to navigate through a rollover, you can put the exact expiration. But you can also do it more simply and just type /MES and that would work as well. And again, I would say, the huge majority of trades, the rollover is not a factor. The expiration, holding a position during expiration is not a consideration, not something that anybody has to worry about. If it is, then I'm going to make a note in the stock picks page indicating that I'm anticipating it. All right, let me look one more time in my notes. One more thing, the OCO orders. I just want to show again how it's so similar to stocks. I can set an OCO order where I have my profit exit and my stop loss both set up and ready. And so that's another way that it's similar to stocks. I did it. I covered all the topics. I feel pretty good. If you guys have questions, let me know. You can reach me at Eric, ERIC, at mindfultrader.com. Thanks, guys.